What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be showing you Tyler's Kaden 2-dot deck that he played for this week's Retro Round 4 Campus Championship. What's Retro? Great question. Jasco on July 18th is going to be hosting a Retro online tournament where you get to play from decks, from sets all the way from the original Red Horizon up until our current, most recent set, as well as all the legal printed DLC. With that said, it is an online tournament. There will be a small ban list, which I'll leave down in the description down below, as well as the link to go and sign up for the event. I'll leave in the description down below. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the profile. But before we do, just so you know, they are playing their tournaments online. Since we are playing all of our events in paper, though we will have some proxies, including possibly the Kaden character card. Let's jump into it. Alright, so Kaden 2-dot. If you haven't seen one of my deck profiles before, basically what I'm going to be doing is, as opposed to telling you and reading off the cards verbatim, I'm going to be more explaining how the deck wants to work. So what does Kaden 2-dot want to do? Kaden wants to flip all of my opponent's foundations and then blow up the ready face-down foundations that I see fit. Every time my opponent interacts with their attacks for plus or minus damage, I'm just going to flip their stuff, and then every time one of my attacks deals damage, I'm going to blow up a cool card. Really, really awesome, ahead of its time when it comes to foundation control, or excuse me, staging area control. Just making sure that my opponent just doesn't have any card text to play with. How fun, huh? How fun. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the attacks. We are playing 3 from Science with Love. This is our main kill card when it comes to the deck. I want to load up my momentum as much as I can, possibly cheating it in based on the number of assets that I have, and then give it multiple X equals the number of face downs that I have. I'm flipping all sorts of stuff with Kaden. And so their entire staging area of up to like 10, 12 cards is going to be face down. So I'm going to give this thing multiple 12. If I've got the 12 momentum, I'm going to multiple it out and just hit you 4 high for 5 with each and every one of them. What a bomb of a card. Could be the one attack you draw and just close out the game, even if they're at full life. Up next, we've got 4 Flight of the Wicked. This card says it gets damage equal to the number of face-down foundations my opponent has. As we said before, every single one of their foundations is going to be face-down. And so this thing can be getting anywhere from 5 to 10 extra damage. And a 4 high for 16 throw seems pretty strong. Up next, we're playing 4 Leg Ram. This card says that it gets X damage equals the number of face downs in my opponent's staging area. It's basically the same card as Flight of the Wicked, except it's on a 3 diff as opposed to a 5 diff. But it doesn't have throw, so there was what makes us our last diff. But it does say that late into my chain, I can play this for essentially free and hit you with like a plus 10 damage attack. Up next, we're playing Double Rook Splitter. Rook Splitter helps me flip my opponent's foundations. It has stun 2, it has powerful 2, or they start discarding cards. And the more the cards that I get out of their hand, it doesn't matter that my attacks are throws or not. It means that I'm still going to be doing full damage if they don't have any cards in their hand. We're playing Triple Spinning Pile Driver. First enhance, I get to flip one of my opponent's foundations. And then if we adjust any stats, we're going to be flipping more off of Kaden. Also a throw, really good to get momentum off of. And the last card that we're playing is playing 4 Pilgrimage. Pilgrimage says that my opponent gets to flip with Spinning Pile Driver. I choose. With Pilgrimage, they choose. And then if they have 3 or more face downs, they probably will. I get to replace this card and draw an additional one. Onto our assets. We're playing quite a few of it because of our deck being a From Science with Love deck. We're playing Double Requiem. This card says that my attacks get extra damage equal to their face downs, or I can commit it to give minus damage equal to face downs. My goal is to have my opponent's entire staging area have minus face downs. So it's possible this thinking of like plus 8 damage or like minus 8 damage. And minusing 8 damage on an attack essentially means that my opponent didn't play that attack. Up next, we've got 1 Omega Sword and Owl Shield, giving our attacks a little bit of extra juice by checking a 4, or while it's in my staging area and ready, I get to auto-block things because my cards don't count towards progressive difficulty. We're playing Double Coludus as our last asset as a way to help us deal with my opponent's foundations. If one of my attacks deals damage, I'm just going to flip their foundation. Up next, onto our actions, we're playing 4 Confine. This card just says that I can add a card from my momentum up to my hand. Since we're playing throws, it's really easy as a 0 diff just to be like, hey, I'll trade this card into just another attack. We're playing Triple Stop as our last defensive or disruptive card and our last action inside of the deck. If I block with it, I commit my opponent's character. I think this card has a ton of value. The stock on this card is going way, way up because of cards not existing in the format like Bang and such to deal with my opponent's character. One of the easiest ways to stop my opponent's really cool, crazy combo from happening is just to turn their character sideways. Because there's so many more characters inside of the game, so many more crazy combos that you could be doing. Stop is one of the things to stop them. Hilarious. On to our aggressive foundations, we've got 2 Thunderous Roar. Commit, your attack gets extra speed for each of their face downs, and if you've got 30 or more cards in your discard pile, which we're making checks with our character, it gets an additional extra speed for each of their face downs. So just committing it for plus 8 speed would be something, but if I've got 30 cards in my discard pile, plus 16 speed, seems insane. Absolutely nutty. We're playing Triple the Second Saintly Beast, kind of in the same manner, just making sure that my attacks get through. Or maybe a little bit of defense if you need it. Just plus 2 or minus 2 speed by discarding the top 3 cards of our deck. As well as soon as we get to Deadlock, there's literally no way they have a staging area. Up next, we're playing triple, the Key to Humanity's Freedom. If I have an asset, my attack gets plus 2 damage for free. And I can also remove this asset in order to play a card. Really, really good if I want to play either Coludus to flip another card, or Requiem in order to give plus or minus damage, depending on what I need. Onto our flow cards. These are the flippy cards. We're playing 4 Eviscerate. After I take damage, I get to flip this, and then they flip 1. So I'm kind of trading 1 face-up resource for their face-up resource, and their face-up resource probably didn't say, flip to just do a whatever. In the same way that we're playing 4 Push the Limit. After I play this card into my card pool, my opponent chooses and flips one of their foundations. We're playing double the Forbidden Technique, one of Tyler's absolute favorite cards. It turns 1 card, I flip it, and I build the top card of my deck face down. So I'm turning 1 foundation into 2 foundations. Really, really strong if you're able to build it out on turn 1. Really puts you ahead for whenever you want to attack on your next turn. We're playing 4 Hell's Reach. This card's just a really, really good safety net. If I check poorly on a turn that I need to not check poorly, or my opponent has committed some cards and I need to make sure I can block some stuff, I'll flip these as essentially a once per game re-ready back up these foundations. Up next, we're playing 3 Sense of Morals. Super, super good at just building out foundations, as well as getting extra cards into our discard pile. Really good for that Thunderous Roar ability. As well as it does not count towards progressive, so building it on turn 1 is really good. Onto some defense, we're playing 4 the Demonic Guard. This card says that it gets flip minus 1 damage for each face down that they have. We're flipping everything they have, so it's just like, hey, nuke your attack. And then as well as, if you completely block this throw attack, it deals no damage. So a little bit of throw hate as well. Super needed inside of this format. Up next, we're playing double Bakery Poster Girl. Playable while committed. If they've played 3 enhances, I just put their speed back to 0 and easy block whatever I need to. Playing double Guardian of the Spirit Sword for defense, minus 2 or minus 3 speed, and I can add assets from my discard pile to my hand depending on if they're necessary. Grabbing a Kaluda seems really good when I'm trying to flip other stuff. On to the disruptive, we're playing double Protecting the Protector. This card's just kind of a silver bullet for any time that my opponent tries to mess with my staging area. If they try to commit, flip, destroy, remove, seal a card, I just say no thank you. And because of us gaining as much momentum as we are with our throws and with our From Signs with Loves, this card's pretty much live all the time. And then the last card that we're playing, Disrupting-wise, is Ominous Prophecy. This card can be the real fun police, depending on the deck that you fight it against. A lot of decks currently inside of both Standard and Retro really rely on specific keywords to make their decks work. And so you can just remove at the start of your opponent what you think is going to be their kill turn. You just name the keyword and you say that they can't play it. Oh, you're playing a Yoshimitsu deck? None of your cards have a weapon, which means that you don't get to draw extra cards and do a bunch of extra cool things because of the weapon keyword. Are you playing Takeda? Oh, no combo. You don't just don't get to do cool combo stuff. Lord Raptor, hey, none of your cards have flash. Let's play enhances like the rest of us. Just really, truly can be the fun police. And at the same time, can be a totally dead card depending on the matchup that you fight. 1, All right, so there you have it. There is the deck, Kaden 2 Dot. This deck was an absolute blast to play. I loved watching it. I loved piloting it after the event. If you like this deck and you want to see more like it, please make sure you check out all of the matches that were played for this week's Retro Round 4 Campus Championship, as well as all the other profiles that were made. If you want to, come out and join us on twitch.tv/TCGUniversity every Tuesday at 6, and you can sit down and join the chat. We would love to hang out with you while we play some cards. And lastly, I guess not lastly, remember to sign up for the retro event. Jasco's putting on this really awesome event. $40 to enter, and you get so many awesome prizes, including like an entire box of product. But just showing up for the retro event and dropping out just for the box of product is super worth it. And then my very last thing is, if you like the content that you're seeing, please go out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Sub out there at least the $1 level. Get access to our Discord as well as a bunch of other awesome content, and come have a conversation with me. If you have a really awesome idea for a Kaden 2 deck, drop it in the Discord. I'd love to sit down and talk with you about it. So, from all of us here at TCGU, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.